Hi guys, I'm Dr. Tom Dawson, and welcome back to the 18-month visit. If you're like me, you're glad to see this because this is the end of my least favorite time. 15 and 18-month visits are the hardest ones for me. It's when their stranger anxiety is the worst. When you come back next time at 2, most of them are all going to start liking me again. So that makes my life easier. So at 18 months, your child probably should be able to walk. Keep in mind, I've had plenty of kiddos that didn't walk until they were 18 months. They were still captain of the track team in high school. But if your child's not walking, let's talk to our pediatrician about it. And likewise, your child should be saying a few words. Average child in my practice at 18 months says 4 words: mom, want, dad, uh-oh, and no. But there was a little girl at 15 months who was speaking in paragraphs that's just making everybody else nervous. So they should be saying a few words, but they should be understanding probably 75 to 80% of the things that you're saying. So if they seem to be understanding language, that's what matters, and what they say, less important, but they should be saying a few words. At this point, most children will be off the bottle. If your child is not off the bottle, don't worry about it. I have some tricks to help you get them off the bottle, and maybe I'll make another short video to help you with that. This is also a time that a lot of children will be giving up the pacifier. I find that there's kind of 2 groups of children. There's those that don't care that much for the pacifier, and they tend to give it up around the time they're 18 months. And then there's that group that loves their pacifier, and they're probably going to want to hang on to it until they're 2.5. And that doesn't bother me at all. From a dental standpoint, I mean, yes, when you have a pacifier, it moves your teeth around a little bit, but they will move back to where they're supposed to be as long as we get rid of the pacifier before they're 3 or 4. So we have some time to worry about that, and we'll talk about that at the 2-year visit. As far as sleeping at night, children will benefit from having a very kind of a fixed routine at bedtime. And if you can have 20 minutes where they do the same thing every night, they kind of subconsciously start putting themselves to sleep before they even get to the bed, and that'll make going to sleep a little easier for them, because it takes children longer to fall asleep than it does your average adult. Keep in mind they will have some maybe nightmares and things at this age. This is a group of children and people that still think dragons are real. So it'd be hard to wake up from a dream about a dragon and know that you're okay. So understand that they still think a lot of these things are real. It's 18 months. Most children get down to 1 nap a day. Normally it would be 2 naps up until 18 months and then 1 nap until they go to school. Personally, I probably would prefer to have 2 naps until they go to school and then 1 nap until you're 35 and then back to 2 naps again. But the common nap schedule is 1 nap from 18 months until they go to school. In terms of their teeth at this point, they should be brushing their teeth at least each night. Don't worry so much about how clean they get their teeth. We're mainly doing this to teach them the habit and get a good routine and lifetime habit of brushing their teeth. If they don't do a great job of cleaning, put, a half a pea-sized amount of toothpaste on there and have them hit all the teeth one time, and then they end up chewing on the toothbrush and swallowing the toothpaste. And that's kind of what toothbrushing is at this age. But remember, we're just kind of trying to teach them the habit. Now, the interesting thing about their behavior at 18 months is this is when they would like to be in charge. This is when their independence starts to come out, and they would like to be in charge of everything. So we're going to give them a lot of little decisions, just nothing that's important. And you have a lot of experience with this because you've already trained your husband. If you were going to go see a movie, you wouldn't ask your husband what movie he wants to go see because he'll pick the wrong one. So you would say, honey, I think, would you rather go to 7 or 7:30 viewing of this movie that I've already picked out? At which time he'll go, me man, 7:30. And you'll go, oh, sweetheart, that's so clever. Why didn't I think of that? And then you'll go to the 7:30 viewing of the movie that you picked out. So since you have practiced with this, do the same thing with your 18-month-old. Do you want orange juice or apple juice? Do you want corn checks or wheat checks? And they get to make whatever choice they make, and that's fine. Now, when you're learning about making decisions, you need to, let them know that once you bring the apple juice, that's what you're having, and that decisions have consequences. Likewise, when you're at the restaurant, you can change your order while the waiter's there, but once the waiter brings the food, that's what you're having. Speaking of food, there are people now, they can eat pretty much anything. We just avoid choking food still. Most will be big enough at this point to take a chewable multivitamin with iron, and those taste a lot better than the liquids, so I would encourage that. So from a safety standpoint, we just have to be careful on the streets because they are so fast now that anytime there's cars nearby, we just have to be really on our toes because they're super fast. And keep in mind that these guys think a Band-Aid will fix anything. So we just have to have them close by. Likewise, in terms of swimming, this is an age where a lot of people will start swimming lessons, and I think that's totally fine. But keep in mind that this does not waterproof your child, and we still have to be super vigilant around any pools, because that pools are still the number one killer of children in my practice. So as far as taking care of them in general, we never leave our children alone in a car. We never leave them alone in a tub. Just really have to be careful of their safety at this age. In terms of their playing, they'll be playing more with other kiddos, but don't expect them to share. And they don't play cooperatively. They kind of play next to each other. We call it kind of parallel play. Some of their simple chores can be like a game, and they can start learning to pick up their toys and those types of things. Pretend play becomes a big part of their life at this point. And so feel free to join in and help them experience that. And then remember, the bad times are just almost behind us now. We're almost to 2 where they start liking me again. And you hear a lot about the terrible 2s. Let me assure you, 15 to 18 months is much worse than 2. 2 is actually pretty nice because you can reason with them by the time they're 2. At 15 to 18 months, they're just beating their head on the floor, having a tantrum. Much tougher. So the second tough period of child rearing is behind you, and we'll see you back when they're 2. Good luck.